Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And yesterday we got quite a bit of snow. I was outside shoveling snow the other day. About the second time we've had big snow during the winter season. So definitely winter's here. It got very cold, 10 degrees or so where I'm at. And wish it was warmer. Maybe it's warmer where you're at. Anyway, so I'm doing a video. Well, one of my goals of this new year, looking back, there's an app called Letterboxd that I got introduced a year or two ago, and you can go on it, and when you watch a movie, you can go on and add that to a movie that you've watched, and you can write a review for it, and you can make a list of like where you rank it. Anyway, so it's like one of my favorite apps to use. I love using it. So I'm trying to, every movie I watch, I try to, if I haven't done it yet, I try to go on Letterboxd and write a movie review, and it records it kind of in your diary each month. Like these are the movies, and you look back at what movies you watch each month, basically. And so I'm trying to watch, well, I thought I'd try to watch 365 movies this year. I'll see if I can make a movie a day, which I'm not doing. I think I watched like 28 movies in the month of January, so I was about 3 days short of. I was trying to get 31 movies in January, but I ended up doing 28 or so, and so I'm getting further behind. I'm finding it harder and harder to sit down and watch a movie. Some movies because they're just very long, and I have other things I want to do. So I don't know. We'll see how far I get, but I'm making more of an effort anyway to watch movies and write movie reviews on this app. And you go on the app and then you can follow people, and you can, every time they write a review or say, rate a movie, that it'll show up so you see what they're doing. And people that are following you, of course, will see what you're doing, and it's kind of a good way to interact with other people. Anyway, so I was looking on there, and I thought I would go over what I watched kind of in the month of January, and just the kind of the ones that are notable for being good or bad, and give my viewpoint on them, just for the fun of it. So first, the good. The best movie I is a rewatch, but it was Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is the second Avengers movie. And this I saw on Disney Plus. I'm trying to watch all the MCU movies up to Avengers Endgame. Anyway, so that's as far as I am at right now with that. And so rewatching this, it's been a while since I've watched it. I saw it in the movie theater. I had the Blu-ray. I always really liked it. Rewatching it, man, it's a really good movie. Like I was even surprised by how much I enjoyed rewatching it, because it's kind of a little long. There's maybe too much going on in the movie. There's a whole Thor thing where he goes off and you kind of get introduced to the Infinity Stones. And then it seemed like there may be too many characters. You get Vision at the end, kind of gets introduced. But overall, I mean, I love these Avenger movies. Action is amazing. Special effects are great. Also, the humor, I love the humor. Very funny movies. A lot of great action sequences, and I love how they bring on all these characters together. I think it's just amazing. I think the Avenger movies are my favorite movies of the MCU. Like I love these team up movies. They've done such a good job. And this movie has some great, like I said, action sequences. At the very end, there's this huge battle with the Ultron's robots, and they do a lot of great slow motion action sequences. I love the team ups of Thor hits the shield of Captain America, and it makes this blast. I love when they do special things like that when they team up. It makes it a lot more fun of a movie. I also love the when Hulk goes crazy, and Iron Man has this huge Iron Man suit. I think they call it the Hulk Buster, and they have this big fight out and destroys a whole building. It's a real fun sequence. Anyway, so yeah, watching it, and I think Ultron's a really good bad guy, and he's kind of humorous, but his overall plan, I mean, is pretty inventive. Creating a meteor, destroy the Earth, basically, destroy all humankind. So the stakes are very high, and he's very powerful because he has all these other robot army, and Yeah, so I think he makes actually for a very good villain in the movie, and his whole plan I really like is somewhat original. Um, and it also introduces two pretty important characters to the MCU: Wanda slash Scarlet Witch, and Vision. It's kind of interesting rewatching this now because uh, they don't really have much interaction. Of course, they end up becoming a love item and having this great love story, and they end up having their own TV show, WandaVision. So they're definitely two important characters moving forward. So it's kind of interesting to see those two characters introduced in the movie. So I still say Avengers Age of Ultron, really good movie. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Strong recommend there. Um, then I uh, rewatching Disney animated movies. One that really kind of, I don't know if I should say surprised me, how much I liked it, was 101 Dalmatians, the cartoon version back in the 60s. I really like this movie. And it's been a while since I watched it, but rewatching it, yeah, it totally works. And maybe because I'm a dog owner, I have a lot of I got kind of emotional with the dogs, and really rooting for them to survive. Uh, and of course, Cruella is a great villain. Of course, they made a whole movie of her on Disney Plus called Cruella. She's definitely one of the most iconic villains, so it's a really great villain, and the whole look is great. A really dark kind of plot where she wants to kill these puppies, and I'm like, and these two thugs are gonna kill. I mean, they're gonna kill these puppies to make a fur coat, and just to kill one puppy is you got to be very evil and dark to kill one puppy, I would think. But to kill like 100 puppies, I mean, that's just really dark and kind of frightening in a sense. But I love the dog characters, and I love the two human owners, and you should see them fall in love. And it's quite charming, the movie, and I love the whole dog. Something I didn't remember about the movie is the way they get information is one dog barks to another dog, and that barks to another dog, and so there's this chain of communication, and that's how they find out where the puppies are. I thought it was really a creative idea and really worked, and yeah, great ending, very happy ending to it. Anyway, so yeah, I totally recommend rewatching that one. I thought that was a really good movie. I'm giving it 3.5 stars, which is a solid recommend. Um, also rewatch a Lego Batman movie. It's a movie that I own actually on Blu-ray. Very fun, very funny movie. Kind of inventive, using the Lego animation, and kind of talks. I love how it talks about previous Batman films and how they use the Batman franchise. Um, you know, referencing all the other movies that have been made, and a lot of great fourth wall breaking, kind of meta humor in there. And then they also bring in super villains from other franchises like Harry Potter and like King Kong come in, and so I love how they bring in all these other villain characters. So very inventive, great cast work, great voiceover acting. Overall, yeah, just a really fun movie. Lego Batman movie. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. It's on HBO Max. You can watch that on streaming. Um, a new movie, fairly new movie I watch is The Eternals, which is on Disney Plus, and this is second to last probably big Disney MCU movie. Of course, they have Spider-Man: No Way Home. Uh, Anyways, Eternals is the last big one that came on Disney Plus, and this is a movie I wasn't really excited to watch at all, and I didn't think it was going to be good at all. Um, Mostly because it's directed by Chloe Zhao, I believe her name is, which did Nomad Land, which was my least favorite, was my worst movie of last year, and it won Best Picture. I thought it was a horrible movie, probably boring. I watched another movie of hers called The Rider, which I thought was really boring. So I thought, why do you give this the most boring director ever this superhero franchise or movie? And I thought, no way it's going to succeed. Plus, you have these Eternals. Never heard of the Eternals. It's a totally new superhero group. So I was like, I don't know how it's going to succeed. But surprisingly, I thought it was really good. It's a little long. I think it's almost 2.5 hours, something like that. And there's a lot of characters. There's like 10 superhero characters that they introduce in the movie. And I think watching it reminds me of X-Men, where you have these different characters that have different superpowers. They all have different superpowers, and the superpowers work together. When they work, again, I like the team up when they work as a team, and they use their different abilities to fight the bad guys. Really quite enjoyable. I think all the action scenes were really well done. I would say I was very confused throughout the movie. In fact, the ending, I really don't understand what happened at the end. I just know the good guys won, but the way it happened, I was like, I don't get what's going on. So if you can get confused pretty easily, this might be a hard movie to watch because it does get pretty confusing. But yeah, again, I said it didn't take away from me enjoying it. Also, a lot of great humor in it. I thought it was very funny. I love Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, I believe his character is. He's of course a stand-up comedian, comedic actor. So he was very funny in the movie. Really enjoyed his character. Yeah, so I gave it 3.5 stars. It's all it recommends, and maybe the biggest surprise movie I've seen recently because I was expecting to hate it. So, but yeah, I would recommend Eternals. Um, so that's my 3.5. I have a couple of 3-star movies I'll talk about. I rewatched Spaceballs, which I found on YouTube. Was showing they show movies sometimes on YouTube, free movies. And Spaceballs is always a favorite of mine as a kid. Of course, Star Wars. Always loved Star Wars, so I love Mel Brooks's humor, his parody humor. So it's a great parody of Star Wars. I say pretty good. Uh, Overall, it still works, pretty funny. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars, which is like a light recommend. It's not like the funniest movie, and not all the jokes work, and it's a little bit silly at times. The whole yogurt scenes are not that great. With Mel Brooks is supposed to be kind of like a Yoda. Those aren't so funny. Of course, it has Bill Pullman and John Candy. Rick Moranis is so good. The best part of the movie is Rick Moranis' Dark Helmet, the Darth Vader parody. He's very funny in that character, I think, and a lot of stuff. And it has some of the best meta humor, fourth wall breaking humor, I guess you can say, I've seen in a movie, where they even, one point, the bad guys don't know what to do. What do we do next? And the guy says, let's watch the movie Spaceballs and we'll see what to do next. And so they have a copy of Spaceballs, the movie, on VHS, and they put it in a VCR, and so they can watch and see what to do next. So that was a pretty inventive way of getting around, the plot or what to do next in the movie. There's a scene where they think they captured the good guys, but it turns out they just capture the stunt doubles. That was a really funny idea. And even the scene where they're doing lightsaber battle and they accidentally hit one of the cameramen, and you see one of the cameramen falling, so it's like they recognize that it's a movie, yet they keep going forward. Anyway, so very, very good stuff there, Spaceballs. Kind of a surprise movie I checked out was Mr. Pauper's Penguins, which is on Disney Plus. It just recently came on Disney Plus. That's why I watched it. I've been a huge fan of Jim Carrey. Growing up, he was one of my favorite actors. So this is funny. Mr. Popper's Penguins, I believe, I feel like it's right at the end where he was kind of in the 90s. I mean, his career was going up. It was just a straight upward. He was one of the most popular actors in the 90s, making tons of money, and just box office, standout. Probably the greatest comedian of that era. And then even into the 2000s did a pretty good job, but somewhere in the mid 2000s into whatever, his stardom's kind of starting to fall. He was starting to make more bomb movies. I mean, he did some serious movies too that weren't bad, and he did some that weren't. Anyways, his stardom started to kind of go down, and I feel like Mr. Pop's Penguins is probably right at the peak of his downturn. Maybe that or Kick-Ass 2 is kind of where he kind of then disappeared from movies for a little while, and now he's kind of making a comeback with Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll see, but so it's interesting watching this. I knew that this was kind of towards the downturn of his career, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's it's a little silly. I mean, the penguins are definitely all CGI'd, and you can tell that they're CGI'd, so that kind of takes you out of it a little bit. And some of the stuff they do is a little immature humor. But as a family film, I thought it worked well as a family film, and I think Jim Carrey was actually pretty good in the movie. I still think he has the comedy chops, and he really carries the movie. And I give it 3 out of 5 stars, so I give it a light recommend. I mean, it's not a great movie, but enjoyable enough. I would recommend it to watch as a family. I think it was actually quite enjoyable. I think the last movie I'm going to talk about in the good category, then I might do another video doing the bad category movies. So I'll end this video on this. Actually, the first movie I watched of this year I'm going to talk about is The Suicide Squad, which is on HBO Max. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars, a light recommend. Very fun. Of course, James Gunn taking over this kind of franchise. They did the first called Suicide Squad, and I saw that in the movie theater. Suicide Squad, I thought was terrible. It was horrible, very boring. The only good thing was Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was a great character, and she was quite enjoyable. I hated the Joker. Jared Leto's Joker was terrible. I don't know. It's just overall just left a bad taste in your mouth. So then they rebooted kind of the Suicide Squad. They put James Gunn in there because James Gunn got fired briefly from Disney, and so this was kind of. And I like Guardians of the Galaxy, so this is kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, except very, very violent. It's a radar version of that, and the violence is so bad that it's almost comical. So I enjoyed it. Kind of, it didn't gross me out. I don't always like great, really violent films, but this one was somehow they did it kind of in a creative way that was somewhat enjoyable. But yeah, very creative. Of course, James Gunn's very kind of quirky sense of humor and stuff, and so the humor really worked. Of course, very funny movie. Action sequences were pretty good. It's just a fun movie. Good pacing. Never got bored. So I don't give it a real strong recommend just because it was maybe a little too violent and some of the humor is a little too immature. I think that I kind of downgraded to 3 out of 5 stars. But overall, kind of just a fun, enjoyable movie just to watch and not think too much. Just enjoy it. Of course, Margot Robbie's back as Harley Quinn is great. Idris Elba's Bloodshot, whatever it was really good. And then maybe the standout was John Cena's Peacemaker. I thought was really good in the movie. In fact, there's a Peacemaker TV show now on HBO Max, which I've been watching, which is a decent show. I've been enjoying the John Cena. John Cena is so good. He's definitely like the next best actor coming out of wrestling, outside of Dwayne Johnson. I think he's definitely, and he's probably getting his mid-late 40s, and his career is really starting. Oh, I guess you could put Batista in there too, of course, who plays Drax in the Guardians. I think John Cena's probably even better actor than Batista. So we'll see John Cena. I'm sure his roles are going to maybe increase because I think this really gave him a starring role, this TV show, Peacemaker. So we'll see where he goes from here. But I would say if you don't like violence, don't watch it. But if you can take the violence, Suicide Squad, I would recommend anyway. So those are movies I saw in January that I'm going to recommend. And I'll end the video here and do another one on the movies I won't recommend that I saw this last month anyway. So thank you for watching the video, and thank you anybody who liked it, and thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you all. Have a good day.